Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So, welcome to another session of Current Affairs with Photon Civil Service Academy. And today we'll be seeing what has happened in the past few days, right? So, the first set of current affairs is regarding India and Maldives. So, can you tell me where exactly Maldives is with respect to India, direction wise? What is the location of Maldives? Anybody?
Southwest.
Southeast, yes, okay. Below which islands? Which islands of India? Which is the island that lies to the east of India in the Arabian Sea? Our
Lakshadweep.
islands. Uh, Audible, can you repeat it once more?
Lakshadweep Islands.
Lakshadweep Islands. So Maldives is somewhere just right below Lakshadweep Islands. It's separated from the Lakshadweep Islands by a particular parallel. Just like how we studied North Vietnam and South Vietnam is separated by 17th parallel. What is the parallel that separates Maldives and Lakshadweep? Anybody who knows? Anybody? 8 degree. Okay. It's the 8 degree that separates the Maldives and Lakshadweep. Okay. And what do you know about Maldives? What, is it a secular country? Is it bound to certain religion? What is it? Maldives. Is it a secular country like India? Anybody? Maldives is a Muslim country. Okay, so Maldives is a Muslim country, and the official language is Divehi. All right, but there are many other languages that are spoken in Maldives. One of the major ones being Hindi. Okay, we have a lot of people from India who've migrated into Maldives, and Hindi is also spoken as one of the major languages along with other languages. All right. So these are the basic details about Maldives. Maldives is actually a group of islands. It's not just one major island with a lot of water around it. That's not how Maldives is. It's just like our Lakshadweep. Okay, there are a lot of islands in the Maldives country. Okay, it's composed of a lot of islands and lot of coral reefs. You can find a lot of coral reefs in this region, and these coral reefs act as barriers also to protect this particular country from a lot of geographical extremities. All right, so this is basic details about Maldives. Okay, this is the position of Maldives, just right uh, below us, right? Just underneath Lakshadweep. Fine. And what is the capital of Maldives? Something we've already studied. What is the capital of Maldives? Anybody? Capital of Maldives?
Mm,
Malay. And currency? We've gone through all of this, so that's why I'm asking. Anybody who remembers the currency? Nobody? So do one thing. Today, please cross check. Please revise, do the revision, and let me know tomorrow, first thing, what the currency of Maldives is. Okay? So recently, what exactly happened? Our Prime Minister made an official visit to the Maldives, right? And during his visit to the Maldives, they signed a lot of bilateral agreements. Bilateral, the term bilateral comes into existence when there are two countries involved, right? If it's more than two countries, then it becomes trilateral. If it's three countries, it's trilateral. Four countries becomes quadrilateral, right? And more than that, usually two or more is called multilateral, right? Multilateral agreements means the two or more countries are involved. If it's just two countries that are involved, usually you tell the term bilateral agreements, right? So during this visit of the Prime Minister to Maldives, there were 8 key bilateral agreements that were signed. Okay, there were a lot of coverage, lot of things that were covered under these 8 agreements. Okay, some being digital payments, debt relief, okay, giving them a lot of money as loan, line of credit. Okay, we'll see what line of credit is. I'll tell you what line of credit is. Infrastructure wise, giving them a helping hand and a joint agreement. This has basically marked a renewed phase in India Maldives relations. Why is it saying that it has marked a renewed phase in India Maldives relation? What exactly went wrong with India and Maldives relation? Has anybody followed the news in the past where things got a little bitter between India and Maldives? Very recently, not a long time back,
One
regarding.
of the ministers of Maldives called India a bully.
Okay, why did that happen? Over what did that argument happen? Over Twitter, right? It was over internet that things got rough. Why exactly did this happen? Anybody who has an idea? So can you tell me which sector is like vital for the survival of Maldives? Which sector does Maldives depend greatly on? Considering its location, considering the coral reefs, islands, and all that, which sector would be the most economically active sector in Maldives?
Fishing and transport.
Okay, fishing, that's good. Other than that,
Tourism.
huh?
Transporting
Tourism.
and shipping.
Okay, transport, shipping, all that is fine.
Tourism.
Tourism. Don't you think tourism? How many people put vlogs and photos of going to Maldives from India, right? Maldives, they visit a lot of atolls that are in and around Maldives, and they spend their vacation in Maldives, right? So tourism is something that gives Maldives it's like the backbone of its economy, tourism sector. So what happens exactly? What happened recently was Narendra Modi, Prime Minister Narendra Modi, he visited Lakshadweep and he sort of encouraged tourism to Lakshadweep, which Maldives took as an insult when it came to the comparison between Lakshadweep and Maldives as a tourism sector. Narendra Modi indirectly or directly prompted people to opt for Lakshadweep as a tourism destination, which actually resulted in a lot of cancellations to Maldives, cancellation of trips to Maldives, and celebrities and people tweeted over internet saying, "Let's all go to Lakshadweep." Okay, it was a trend back then. At a particular point of time, there was a complete trend going on that tourism should be shifted to Lakshadweep, and that is when India and Maldives actually fell off the track. Okay, we had a tiff, and there've been incidents before as well. Okay, Mohammad Muizu, who is the president of Maldives, he's actually considered to be a pro-China president. Usually, all Maldivian presidents, once they get elected, they visit India first. Okay, they have this customary visiting of countries who they have good relations with. Usually, all the presidents before Mohammad Muizu, this is Mohammad Muizu, before before every president, before Mohammad Muizu, every president who was elected as the president of Maldives made their customary visit to India first. But this man, after he got elected, the first country he visited was Turkey and then China, which itself marked his pro-China attitude. Even during election, one of their main agendas itself was to face out India. All right, one of their indirect agendas, which they did not say it out loud, but yes, that was uh, one of their main electoral, point that helped them win the election. So why is India considered a little, uh, what do you say? Why does Maldives have this tiff with India? What do you think? Because of which country? Which country might be the reason that India and Maldives are being a little off the track lately? String of Pearls, which is the country? String of Pearls,
China.
China. What is China trying to do? What is China trying to do to India?
Choke us from different directions.
Yes, choke us from different directions. So don't you think Maldives, which is just very close to us, in which lies in the Indian Ocean, which lies very close to us, is a very prime location where China can do its activities, right? It will threaten us with its activities. So what exactly is China doing here? There is something called what trap. We've studied something called dash trap. What trap is it?
That's what
Debt trap, right? What is debt trap?
ആദ്യം അവർക്ക് ലോൺസ് കൊടുക്കും, അത്
Hmm.
തിരിച്ചടയ്ക്കാൻ പറ്റില്ല അവരത് ഓവ് ചെയ്യത്തില്ലേ, അപ്പൊ
Hmm.
അത് വെച്ച് അവരെ ട്രാപ്പ് ചെയ്യും.
They'll take advantage of the country, right? That's exactly what is happening in Maldives. Maldives is in a debt trap. Okay, it's a country that is heavily dependent on foreign aids. Maldives as a country is heavily dependent on foreign aids. Okay, which other countries give it. Your other multilateral institutions provide in loans, okay, where they are very highly dependent on these multilateral aids as well. So this particular country is the location is very prime, especially because China has an exclusive interest in the country because it's very close to our our Indian subcontinent, okay, the peninsular subcontinent. It's very close to that particular region, and there is a high chance that it can use Maldives to choke India as part of string of pearls. Okay, so Maldives and Indian relationship is very very important for India. It's very important that India keeps a very good image to the people of the Maldives, and India is in the good books of Maldives, especially because China has this particular agenda, and it's important, it's very vital for us that we have Maldives in our good books as well. Okay, so that's how we are going to help each other, because we have a lot of threats in and around our Arabian Sea, Bay of Bengal, and Indian Ocean, right? We've already seen how China is building ports in Bangladesh. It has activity in Bangladesh, Chittagong port. Same with Hambantota port in Sri Lanka, Gwadar port in Pakistan. There are a lot of places that we've learned across these months of studying current affairs, right? So this particular threat can be overcome by India only by having a good bilateral relation, especially with island countries like these that are in and around our um, seas and ocean, the Indian Ocean and the Arabian Sea and Bay of Bengal. All right. So this is the recent pic that has been shared, okay, during his visit. Now they shared a deep rooted ethnic, linguistic, cultural and commercial ties. India and Maldives, both as countries, the relation has not started just yesterday. Okay, we have a lot of shared ethnic, linguistic, cultural, and commercial ties with the country, because Maldives is a place where Buddhism was also very much relevant. Okay, before Muslim religion became the state religion, there was also a very active role of Buddhism in this particular country. All right, there is a religious link with the country, and we have a lot of Indian citizens in the country, because of which Hindi is widely spoken in Maldives. So that again gives it a very linguistic tie connection, right? And the ethnic similarity between people itself, again, is another very deep rooted tie that we have with the country. And commercial, definitely we have a lot of commercial ties with the country. We do a lot of exporting and importing as well from this particular country. All right, and definitely the importance of the relations we have with Maldives is reinforced by the proximity in the Indian Ocean. It's very close to us, right? It lies very close to us. It lies very close to Lakshadweep, and the geographical position itself makes it all the more important for India and Maldives relationships. Okay, Maldives is a critical part of India's neighborhood first policy. So India has certain foreign policies like neighborhood first policy, Act East policy, SAGAR policy. SAGAR policy is every island country and every country that is sharing the coast with India, Bay of Bengal, Arabian Sea, all of these countries should have a secured growth for every country in this particular region. That is SAGAR policy. The same goes with neighborhood first policy. Neighborhood first policy is first consider the interest of neighbors and then the rest. So again, neighborhood first policy, Maldives is one of our closest neighbors, okay, just like how we have Pakistan, China, Bangladesh, Bhutan, Nepal and all. So again, it's very important and vital for India because Maldives is a neighbor and we have our neighborhood first policy. So it's all the more important for us to maintain a good relationship with Maldives. And also, yeah, please tell me. Any doubt? Okay. And the SAGAR policy as well. Okay, so the Indian Ocean region, every country that lies in and around the Indian Ocean region and the Indian Ocean region, the stability of this particular Indian Ocean region is the prime objective of the SAGAR policy. Okay, so Maldives is a critical part of both neighborhood first policy and SAGAR. Now, what are the recent outcomes that have come into existence? One is debt relief. Okay, actually India has given a lot of loans to Maldives, and currently we have agreed to reduce Maldives annual repayment burden by 40%. So whatever the amount they've taken from us, we've asked them to repayment burden by 40%. We've reduced that particular burden from the debt burden. All right. 4,850 crore line of credit. So basically, line of credit is a loan where initially probably out of this 4,850 crore, probably 2,000 crore will be disbursed first. Once they finish using 2,000 crore, even before they finish the repayment of that 2,000 crore, they can apply for the next set of loan within the limit, that is 4,850 crore line of credit. This is how it works. Initially, you can take 2,000 crore, finish 2,000 crore for your infrastructure and all that. Then even before you repay the 2,000 crore, you can take the next set of loan, probably 2,850 crore, the entire amount you can take, and then you can start the repayment. Okay, so the line of credit works mainly for infrastructure projects. Okay, it's a very friendly sort of a debt that you give to a friendly country. Okay, it's not something that is in line the way that China does debt trap. That is not the main objective of line of credit. Okay, it's truly for the development of the country. It can be used for the infrastructure. So this basically works for the Maldivian development goals. So this particular line of credit has been given by India for infrastructure development in Maldives. Same goes with fisheries cooperation. Okay, something that India and Maldives has very much in common is the fisheries sector, right? So we can cooperate in this particular sector. A lot of information to and fro can be passed between the countries with regard to the fisheries cooperation, so that the marine economy and people's livelihood, people who are dependent on this particular sector, can thrive, right? Same goes with 3,300 housing units. So in a place called Hul Humale, India is planning to construct 3,300 housing units, handover of Indian Finance Social Housing in Hul Humale. All right, so that is also being done. The security assistance, defense assistance that India is providing, where India has gifted 72 vehicles and defense equipments to Maldives. The same goes with climate and disaster partnership. Our geographical proximity itself makes both the countries very vulnerable to the same sort of disasters, right? If there is a cyclone that is happening in Maldives, it's very likely that we are also going to be impacted because of the cyclone, right? The monsoons, both Maldives and Indian Ocean, the entire Indian Ocean region is affected by the monsoons in a similar pattern, right? So Maldives being very close to India, there's a high chance that the monsoon can affect in Maldives as bad as how it is affecting India right now, right? So that makes it very prone to similar disaster patterns in both the countries, right? And it's also believed that Maldives will disappear in a few decades or few centuries from now on. Why? Because of our global warming, right? So it's very important that we have a climate and disaster partnership to overcome the effects of global warming, to give importance to green energy, right? Lot of such areas need to be given importance to build up climate resilience, right? So all of these things together make it climate and disaster partnership very vital with Maldives and India, with Maldives from the Indian perspective. Okay, and we also have a free trade agreement and investment talks that are going ahead. Okay, so agree to advance discussions on bilateral investment treaty and free trade agreement. Clear? Now, what is the significance of the visit? Symbolically reverse the India out rhetoric under Moizu's earlier stance. So I have already discussed with you what exactly happened during Mohammad Moizu's reign, and how Narendra Modi, Prime Minister Narendra Modi, was pulled into the controversy because of the Lakshadweep and Maldives tourism issue. Okay, so post that, there has been a lot of India out rhetoric that was going on in Maldives. So this visit has significantly reversed that particular concept, because Moizu has spoken very highly of Prime Minister Narendra Modi, and he's been received with extreme respect and wellness by the Maldivian people as well. Okay, and it is always the case where India has been the first responder and development partner of Maldives. Even when Maldives got its independence in 1960s, okay, India was the first to recognize it as a country. Until then, it was a British colony, just like how we were a British colony, right? So every time anything happens in Maldives, even when there was a military coup in Maldives at a certain point, India provided army, Indian army actually went ahead and helped overcome, Maldives overcome that particular political situation, and it was called Operation Cactus. Okay, Operation Cactus that Indian army undertook actually reversed the situation, contained the situation. Otherwise, Maldivian political arena would have faced a lot of issues. All right, so India has always been there for Maldives throughout the history of Maldives. Okay, India has been the first responder in case of any dire emergencies, and India has also been one of the very crucial development partners as well. So we've already seen that every time we study a diplomatic connection with a country, it's very important to know the history of the diplomatic connections, to know the basic geography of that particular country, why that country is important to India, right? Then what are the historical ties that we share with that particular country? It's very important to know that. And what else is important? If there is any threat that is looming around the relationship between India and that particular country, that is also very vital to know. Okay, so these are the significances of the visit. Whatever has happened right now, it has anchored India's strategic interest in the Indian Ocean region. Indian Ocean region is very important to us, because to maintain a stable Indian Ocean region is very vital for India as a country, especially because of Chinese activities, right? A lot of threats that we are facing from the Indian Ocean region. So it's very important to India to maintain a very peaceful Indian Ocean region, and having Maldives in our good books, or having us in Maldives good books, it will definitely help us maintain that Indian Ocean region peacefulness, right? And we've also strengthened people to people ties through housing, education, and health cooperation. So these are the significances of the visit. Now let's look into a certain historical background of India and Maldives relationship. India was the first to recognize Maldives independence in 1965. Until then, it was a British colony. All right. So India recognized Maldives independence in 1965. In 1988, India averted a coup in Maldives under Operation Cactus. So this coup in Maldives actually plotted to remove the then president. Okay, it was done by few business people in Maldives with the help of Sri Lankan LTTE terrorists. Okay, they hired Sri Lankan LTTE terrorists to help these people manage the coup. Okay, to remove the president from his seat, to remove the leader from his seat. it was a very unexpected one. Okay. And since LTT was also involved, LTT was not directly involved, they were hired to help these people. Okay, LTT terrorists were hired to help these people. It's just a basic background about, we'll look into Maldivian coup sometime when we are looking at international relations. All right. So at that point of time, to avert that particular political situation, India helped Maldives with Operation Cactus, where Indian Army contained the situation in Maldives. Okay, so Operation Cactus, where was it held? It was done in Maldives during the coup. It averted the coup. Okay, so that again is one very significant event that has occurred between India and Maldives. Then assistance during 2004 tsunami, as much as how India was affected because of the tsunami, Maldives also was completely destroyed. Being an island nation, it will definitely be more destroyed by the tsunami. Back then in 2004, we helped Maldives. Again, there was a Malay water crisis during 2014 when one of their major desalination plants, okay, so their major source of water around is sea, right? Ocean water, sea water, and they have desalinization plants where the salt is removed from the water and that particular water is consumed, right, for their daily uses as well. This particular plant had undergone a damage, and Malé, the capital city of Maldives, underwent a water crisis. Back then also, India stood as a first responder. India supported Maldives through it, and during the COVID-19 pandemic as well. We've tended our hands, tended our help to Maldives. So this shows that we've been always there for Maldives. Okay, whenever Maldives is needed uh, an external help, we've always lent our hands to Maldives. Okay, so far any doubts? Any doubts? Is it clear?
No. Yes, miss.
Okay. Key areas of cooperation. We already have a lot of key areas of cooperation in existence. Example is we have a lot of joint exercises that we conduct with Maldives, Equivalent being one of the very famous joint exercise. Then there's Ekata, Dosti, all of this that we conduct with Maldives. We've seen what military exercises are, right? Then there are projects. MNDF Training Center. MNDF is basically the defense force of Maldives, National Defense Force. So we've been doing projects for training them, okay, training the soldiers of Maldives, and then we've also helped them with coastal radar system, etc., to enhance the security. All right. So these are some defense and security projects that we've undertaken in Maldives. Then one of the most important things we are doing is development assistance. So we've been helping them develop certain infrastructure projects, and for example, recently, just now we studied that they've also, India is planning to do housing for all, right? Construction of housing. So social sector reforms. So there are a lot of things that India has been doing for this particular country. One of the most important ones being the Greater Malay Connectivity Project, GMCP. Okay, Greater Malay Connectivity Project is basically connecting Malay with 3 other island countries via road. Okay, so they're building a road so that people can have an easier connectivity between these 4 important islands. Malay is connected with 3 other important islands. So 40% of the population of Maldives is in Malay. Okay, so they find it very difficult to move around the islands because they have to depend on boats and other cruises from sea to sea, and they many a times have to face rough seas, etc. So this particular Greater Malay Connectivity Project that India is doing will help avert the situation. It will give a major relief to the connectivity issues that this particular region is facing. So Greater Malay Connectivity Project is one of the biggest helping infrastructure project that India has undertaken, and for Maldives it is the biggest infrastructure project that is happening itself. So India is key to this particular project because India is helping them with this Greater Malay Connectivity Project. Fine. Similarly, just like how in Sri Lanka we are constructing the Trincomalee port, right? Here we are helping them with Hanimadhu Airport. Okay, Hanimadhu Airport. And there's MIFCO cold storage. Cold storage, especially because this particular country is highly dependent on fisheries sector. So we need a cold storage facility. Okay, then there's Indira Gandhi Memorial Hospital that is in Maldives. So all of these projects are being undertaken by India, okay, as a development assistance. And same we are also doing 47 high impact community development projects, which helps the community in Maldives, okay, social community social projects that we are undertaking. Example, housing for 3,300 housing units that are being constructed. All of these come under high impact community development projects. Okay, so these are the development assistance that we are tending. Now, trade and investment. India's Maldives' largest trading partner. From Maldivian perspective, India is one of its largest trading partner, and bilateral trade at $548 million. Okay. Now, what do we export mainly from India to Maldives? It's food, medicine, and construction materials. And key imports that we do from Maldives is scrap metal and seafood. Okay. So these are the exports and imports that we undertake. Clear? Tourism and culture. India was top tourist source in 2021-23 with over 2 lakh arrivals annually, and that exactly is the reason why Mr. Prime Minister Narendra Modi's stands on Lakshadweep affected Maldives so bad, because a lot of tourists from India go to Maldives, all right, on a yearly basis. So India was top tourist source in 2021-23 with over 2 lakh arrivals annually. And the Open Skies Agreement signed to promote connectivity. Open Skies Agreement is basically unlimited number of flights that can ply across Maldives and India. There is no limitation on the number of flights that can ply across these two countries. This was done to enhance the connectivity between these countries, because a lot of tourists depend on a lot of tourists go to Maldives. So all of these were reasons why this particular Open Skies Agreement was signed. The same goes with education and HRD. There are a lot of scholarships that are given. There are a lot of teacher training programs that are done, and there's a lot of teacher exchange as well. Okay, Maldivian government has welcomed a lot of Indian teachers. Many people from Kerala also go to Maldives for teaching. Okay, and they're very well paid in Maldives. So all of these come under the Education and Human Resource Department. Then there's also Police College. There are technical institutes. Okay, so all of these are projects that are undertaken by India to help Maldives with regard to human resource development as well. Okay. So what are the challenges and differences? Definitely the one challenge that you can blindly say is China, right? China's interference in this particular region is definitely a challenge, because you know that China has the debt trap policy in existence, and it keeps rising its debt to Maldives, and eventually Maldives is in a position where it is not able to repay, and finally it has to obey what China says. Okay, so it has made the country very vulnerable, and China is doing this too, not just Maldives, a lot of countries in and around the region. So this definitely is going to be a big concern for India. Even though India does a lot for Maldives, Maldives is going to have that strain in relationships, especially because of Chinese presence, because it has to please China because of the debt trap issue, because it can't repay the debts that China has been giving it, right? So that is one main challenge that you can say without even looking at any other point, right? Then definitely the India out sentiment. Like I already told you, every president before Mohammad Muizu, who used to be elected, used to do a customary visit to India first. But for the first time, what has happened is he has made a customary visit to Turkey and China, which itself shows that he has a pro-China attitude, because he has to please, probably that is his worry, he has to please the country because of the debt issues. Okay, so this has resulted in an India out sentiment in all. And we also have a certain military presence in and around this particular region, Indian military presence, because it's very vital for us in the Indian Ocean region to maintain peace. But Indian Army's presence in this particular region is not very much welcomed by people of Maldives, especially the Maldives opposition government back in times. They were completely against Indian presence, Indian military presence in and around the region. So this has also contributed to this India out sentiment, you can say. Okay, and we used to like I've already told you, India has a big brotherly attitude towards countries that are in and around India, right? We've seen some attitude which resulted in Nepal being off the track with India, and Nepal choosing China many a times. That's because of our big brotherly attitude. Necessary or unnecessary, we tend our hands. We say, come on, I'll help you, like a big brother. Okay, we have the thing that everybody around us are, our children, and we have to take care of them. That kind of attitude that India has led to a lot of different opinions, with our neighborhood countries, especially because people want sovereignty, just like how India is a sovereign country. Every country believes that they are sovereign in their own way, and they do not want unnecessary interference by India. Okay, so that is one reason why our neighborhood countries do fall off the track with India many a times. Okay, example is Nepal. Maldives also you can mention as an example. Fine. Then there are sovereignty sensitivities, that is Indian backed defense infrastructure and troop presence are occasionally viewed by Maldivian opposition as interference in internal affairs. Just what I told, the point that I just told. Okay, so these are some of the challenges. Now a few other is political instability in Maldives. Maldives itself has been undergoing a lot of leadership changes. Internally they are having a lot of problems. Okay, the politics itself is facing a lot of challenges. So every time this particular political party changes or a new person comes, the foreign policy also changes. Okay, so there's no constant foreign policy that they're maintaining. If one government is pro India, the next government can be pro China. All right, so there is no constancy in this particular foreign policy priorities that Maldivian government has. Okay, it keeps changing with time. So this affects the bilateral consistency. So probably now they've maintained a good relationship. The next government that's going to topple this particular government may completely be pro China, or they may have a very they may keep India at bay for a lot of things. So this can happen. It can worsen the bilateral relationships that we've been trying to build over a long period of time. All right, so this can happen because of the political instability in Maldives. There's no strict foreign policy. Okay, then delayed project execution. We've already seen how uh, India has been doing certain delays in project execution in Sri Lanka, right? Trincomalee port, all of these projects India has undertaken, and many a times India does not execute it timely. So there are issues from India's end as well as the country's end also. So in the case of Maldives, there are a lot of administrative hurdles and political resistance in Maldives. So this has slowed down the Indian funded infrastructure projects. So once Indian funded infrastructure projects which India has committed to complete does not happen, definitely it is going to affect the credibility of the country, credibility of India as a good friend of Maldives, and it's also going to affect the local sentiment. So when people see, they're like, India had promised they would do this and they would do that, and finally nothing's panned out. So when they see that nothing's panned out, definitely it's going to affect the local sentiment as well. So that is again another issue that India faces. India has actually promised a lot of development projects across our neighborhood countries. Okay, like in Afghanistan we've done a lot of things. Okay, Salma Dam, Parliament, lot of construction and infrastructure projects that we've undertaken in Afghanistan, that we've undertaken in Sri Lanka, that we've undertaken in Bangladesh. All of these, the major challenge that we mention with all of these infrastructure projects is that timely completion. When we've fixed a particular time and date, we have to complete it by then. If we have to keep our international credibility, if we have to uphold our international credibility, right? That is lacking many a times from India's end as well. Okay, here it's not only India's mistake. Maldivian situation, administrative situation is also contributing to the delayed project execution, but we definitely have to work on it. Otherwise, it's going to end up in a lot of other sentiments. Fine. Definitely, the tilt towards China will increase then, because China does timely completion. That is China's strategy itself, right? China helps them. China does everything in its end to help the countries overcome their infrastructure challenges, and finally, the countries are bound to do what China says, right? So these are the issues that we are facing with Maldives. So what are the way forward? What can we do about it? One is that we ensure that delivery of infrastructure projects or whatever we've undertaken in this country, we do it in a very timely manner, okay, to build a long-term credibility. Otherwise, question of India's credibility will exist. India says it will do all this, but eventually it will not do. So in future also, even when we undertake such projects in different other countries as well, it's very important for us to finish our delivery of these infrastructure projects in a timely manner. Now, institutionalize economic and security dialogues to handle geopolitical shifts. Okay, so we need to, like I already told you, the foreign policy of Maldivian government is very flexible, especially because of the political hurdles inside Maldives, right? So we need a very proper security dialogue and economic dialogue that is in existence with Maldives. India and Maldives should have a proper exchange of economic and security dialogues so that we can avoid certain geopolitical shifts. Deepen blue economy and climate resilience collaboration. Blue economy is basically fishery sector. Anything you get from the oceans, that is called the blue economy, right? Even mineral excavation from oceans can also be a part of blue economy, not just the fishery sector. So deepening the ties between Maldives and India in the blue economy sector can be a way forward that we can mention. And definitely climate resilience collaboration. We've already done a lot of measures. We can still further or deepen the collaboration with Maldives with respect to climate resilience. Is this point clear? Is India-Maldives relationship very clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Any doubt? So every time you study a country, the bilateral relations between that particular country, it's very important that you study all these points. Okay, so why is it in news? Why is this particular relation in news? For example, now India and Maldives has come in news. Why has it come in news? Because Narendra Modi has visited Maldives recently, right? So that is the first point. Now, what are the outcomes of this particular visit? That is very important to know. Okay, if they've undertaken any new infrastructure projects, or they're planning for any social sector reforms, or they're all of these points that come into picture, right? Finance, economy, all of these bilateral treaties or bilateral agreements they come forward with. It's very important for us to know what is the outcome of this particular meeting that has been held recently. That's again very important, right? Then what is important is what are the historical connections with this particular country. It can be Maldives, it can be United Kingdom, whatsoever. Okay, so historical connections, most of the times you guys itself can mention certain historical connections. Like if, for example, if it is India and Maldives, or India and any other colonial country that has been on the same page as India has due to colonialism, we can mention it as a shared history that India and this particular country has. The same thing with if it's India and Bangladesh relationship. You can mention about how India and Bangladesh share a common border, share a common Indian Ocean, Bay of Bengal region, share a lot of rivers, right? Share a lot of rivers like Ganga, Brahmaputra and all. And we also can mention about how there is a ethnic similarity between people of West Bengal and Bangladesh, because it was carved out of India during the British era. So these things, even though you haven't read about it in detail, probably you can just write it with the basic logic that you have or the basic history that you've studied. Okay, so all these links are very important. Now, if it's a region in and around us, it's very important to mention the role of China as well. Okay, because we know what China has been doing. This also does not need a special mention. you can just write it down. Even if you haven't read it, you can just write it down that Chinese presence is something that we have to tackle, and having a good relationship with Bangladesh or Nepal is very vital, because we have to tackle Chinese presence, right? You can mention the Belt and Road Initiative. In the case of Maldives, you can mention the String of Pearls, right? So it becomes very important for us to mention all this. Even if you haven't in detail studied about this or read about it, you can mention the basic number of points just by using your logic, or just by using the basic things that you've studied. Okay, so is this point clear? So it's very important to know the historical connections or the shared background between the countries. Then come to the challenges that the countries are facing. What are the bilateral challenges the countries are facing? Is there any other issue, trade related, or economy related issues, or any ethnic related issues? All of this you can mention. Like for example, if it's with Myanmar, India and Myanmar relation, you can definitely mention about the Rohingya crisis, which we've already studied, right? It's very easy for you to mention this particular Rohingya crisis, because you know it's a place in the Rohingyas are from Myanmar. They are moving from the Rakhine state, right? So this particular issue can be mentioned even if you do not know in detail about many other things. Probably you are unaware of many new things that are happening between India and Myanmar, but you can mention about Rohingya, and that's a valid point, right? So India and Myanmar, in the case you can mention about the Rohingyas. In any other country's case, you can mention some other point like this. Okay, so these are again another common thing that you can write, even if you do not have much idea about any other concept that is happening between India and Myanmar, right? So these are the uh, basic challenges that you have to mention about a country and India when you're writing about the bilateral relations. It's very important to know about the challenges that these countries are facing, and conclude it with a way forward. What do you think can be done to overcome this issue, or what do you think can be done to solve these issues? So you finally write a way forward and end your answer. Fine. This is how you study a bilateral relation with any country that comes in the news. Okay. So I hope this point is clear, everybody. Can I go ahead?
Yes, miss.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, there are two more. Promote youth, education and civil society exchange to sustain trust. Align Maldives more closely with Indo-Pacific stability frameworks. Things we've already seen. The first one is promote youth and education, civil society exchanges. We are already doing a lot of student exchange programs as well. So continue doing it so that the trust can be sustained, and align Maldives more closely with Indo-Pacific stability frameworks, because we know that the Indo-Pacific region, we are doing a lot of activities to ascertain the peace in this particular region, especially initiatives like Quad, right? Quadrilateral. We have which other countries in Quad? India. Which other countries in Quad? Can you tell me which other countries that are part of Quad? India, Australia, US and Japan, right? So again, this is for Indo-Pacific stability. So include Maldives as well in the Indo-Pacific conversations. That is what this particular point says. Okay. So now the first week of monsoon session washed out amid disruptions in Parliament. So we're going to study about a topic which is very vital for democracy. You know how democracy works, right? So we elect our representatives and we send them to legislative assemblies, and we send them to parliaments, right? There's Lok Sabha elections that are conducted, and we send our representatives to parliament. Now, what do we expect of them? What do we expect that they do after they reach this particular location? What do we expect?
Service.
Yeah, serve us, okay. Make proper governance system that is valid for the people of the country, right? Do things that better the situation of the country. And how is all this done? How is all this done? By passing laws, by passing bills, by having discussions, right? having proper discussions before every bill is passed. So, for all of this to happen, what do you think is the most vital thing? So, for you to attain an education from a school, will it be possible for you to sit at home and attain your education? Or you have to mark your attendance in school so that your education becomes valid? What do you think? You have to go to school, right? You have to go to school, attendance is taken, and if can say you're absent for more than 1 or 2 months in the course of your school year, it's definitely you're going to miss on a lot of notes. You're going to miss on a lot of activity that has been done in the school, right? So, just that way, just the same way, it's very important that Parliament also keeps up its attendance of MPs, Member of Parliaments, so that we can ensure a smooth working of the governance system in India, a smooth working of the legislative wing of India. But what exactly is happening here over the past few sessions of Lok Sabha, over the past few workings of Lok Sabha, it has been found that the attendance as well as the number of days that they convene to take decisions is very less, or it has reduced. Okay, now here they say that the 17th Lok Sabha functioned for 88% of its scheduled time, while Rajya Sabha worked for just 73%. In the 1950s, the Indian Parliament met for 120 to 140 days every year. Okay, there are 3 sessions that are conducted every year. Minimum supposed to be at every in a gap of every 6 months. There need to be a session that has to be compulsorily conducted, and usually 3 sessions are conducted. Okay, so this particular there's monsoon session, winter session, and the budget session. Budget session, very important 3 sessions, right? The longest is usually the budget session, and it's very important that it is convened in an effective manner so that decision making and so that the governance system and so that the legislative wing of the governance system works effectively. But what exactly is happening here? There are a lot of disruptions that are happening inside the parliament because of the member of parliaments as well, and because of the working of the parliamentary system. A lot of disruptions that are happening. Some of them you guys already know. Can you tell me what are the disruptions that you guys think is happening in the parliament? Anybody? What are the disruptions?
Debates അല്ലേ?
I did not hear, Naveen. Can you repeat? Can you repeat? Have you ever seen a debate? How does a debate work? In a parliament, how?
Unnecessary ആയിട്ടുള്ള debates അല്ലേ?
Sorry, unnecessary ആയിട്ടുള്ള debates എന്നാണോ പറഞ്ഞേ?
Yes, sir.
Definitely unnecessary debates. Why? Because opposition parties sometimes want to show their heroism. Okay, opposition parties want to show that it's completely അവർക്ക് ഒരു media presence കിട്ടാൻ അല്ലെങ്കിൽ for their media presence validity. That is one of the main reasons why opposition party people do this. Okay, they unnecessarily uh, it's very vital for the opposition parties to criticize policies. Okay, it's not that policy should not be uh, just clap അടിച്ച് വിടാനുള്ളതല്ല policies. Definitely you've got to criticize, but unnecessary criticism, that is where the problem arises. Okay, so we are done with the time. Tomorrow we'll complete. Any doubt in today's class? Any doubt in today's session?
No, ma'am.
All good?
No,
All clear? We'll continue tomorrow. Fine. Okay guys, then thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
thank you, Miss.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you.